Shomakenge, Ninjani. It is Mamelo back on this Monday morning thing. It is the afternoon, but hey, it is morning somewhere in the world. Today we're talking about fear, right? There's a lot going around about fear. There is one acronym that I like that's proven true in my life. It's called, well, it says false evidence appearing real. Fear lies to us, guys. It tells us we are this and not that. It tells us we belong here and not there. It tells us we deserve this and not that. I lived in fear for the longest time in my life. One of my biggest fears, I'm still dealing with them now, but now I'm facing them, was about Bazotini syndrome. Yeah, I had sometimes still have a big fear when I do things that I do, because I wonder how people are going to perceive it and how people are going to see it and what people are going to think of me after they've seen me do and say the things that I want to do and want to say. And what I want to say is we can't live in fear because what happens is generally we deprive ourselves of growth and we deprive ourselves of really great experiences. I mean, if you're scared that someone might laugh at you, right? And that's the fear, and you don't want to say something because they might laugh at you or they might reject you. You've already seen in your head the worst. And so what's the worst that could happen? They might reject you or they might laugh at you. And then what? Does life stop? Does a clock say, oh my gosh, the sun will never rise again? No, it doesn't. And so this is what today's video is very, very short. I'm sharing with you guys is living in fear deprives us of very beautiful experiences in life, experiences to grow, experiences to be, experiences to discover. Because when you live in fear, what you do is just continually do the things you do the way you did them before because you already know the outcome, right? I know that if I put my water in here and I seal the cup properly, it won't fall all over my shirt. And I might be fearful, this is just a very silly example, of drinking my water without the cap, right? And then I open the cap, and what happens is I drank the water and the water didn't fall on my shirt. But what happened is it could have fallen on my shirt. Then what happens? I have a wet shirt. I deal with it. Maybe go to the bathroom, dab it, put it under that, whatever that hand dryer thing is, and then my shirt is not wet anymore. And I was out here freaking out because I could not drink from a cup without a lid because I might get wet. Oh my gosh, getting wet is like such a bad thing. We can't be afraid of failure. We cannot be afraid of failure because failure teaches us. I heard a quote that said, in a fight, the guy that loses leaves having learned the most. So every time I fail, I learn a new way not to do something. And that memory will remind me how to do it right the next time, firstly. And secondly, it will remind me if I'm seeing someone who's close to me pulling the same stunt to share that experience with them. Because my failure doesn't have to be your failure. And this is why we share. And this is why I do these videos. Because where I fall short and where I've done things wrong, you don't have to. Because my experience gets to cut that time out for you. And the same, and it's the same for me. So where I've failed, I get to share that with you. Like sharing my story. Yeah, are we going to do this? Like I was saying, the last couple of years have been hectic. Been diagnosed with depression. I used to self-medicate with alcohol. It was bad. It was bad. The people that were in my life in the time that I was drinking were blessings because they're still around, but they saw the worst of me, and I was afraid to share with them what I was going through. I was self-medicating with alcohol because I was afraid to share with the world what I was going through because I thought they would judge me to an extent. And so I was fearful that if I show them that I'm vulnerable, how they see me would change. But at the point where I stopped caring and it just didn't matter anymore, that I was already that failure at that point, and I started sharing and I started being vulnerable with people, the most amazing thing happened. They showed me love instead of disgust. And I was so scared that they were going to just shun me and kick me out of their lives, the ones that are still in my life right now. But they still continue to love me. I talk to them on a daily basis, and I know that God is God because through them I see God's love every day. But I was afraid for so long, and I wasted so much time just being alone because I was scared. And so I've come to a place where that experience has taught me that fear has nothing to give me. Fear has no opportunities, no doors to open for me. All I should do is be like, I'm not your friend. You're not my reality. And whether I fail or not, I'm now going to go for what I want. I'm going to go for what I love. I'm going to do what I think I want to do and say what I want to say. And if I fall on my face, I fall on my face. I get up, I wipe off the dust, and I move on. And that's it for me this week, guys. Can we not be held captive and prisoner by fear? We are so much greater than that. We are so much greater than that. And we'll never really ever discover how great we can be if we are prisoners of fear. So have a blessed week. And that's it from me this week. See you next week, Monday.